I'm Jason Carter. Physical optimization defines my life. The day I was born, doctors nearly killed me with medical malpractice. They said I'd never walk. I've been proving them wrong for 35 years. It's easier than you think to obtain super optimal health. I've devoted my life to it, and with my help, you can too. I'm Jason Carter, and this is ENZYMENTAL. And welcome to ENZYMENTAL. I'm Jason Carter, and today I wanted to tell you about my favorite herb of all time. It's an herb that can literally destroy the entire sugar industry, and with me being a recovered sugar addict, as I've told you many times, you should know by now how significant that is. So the herb is Gymnema Sylvestre, which is also known as the destroyer of sugar. And the translation is actually quite literal. When you eat a Gymnema leaf or put some liquid Gymnema extract on your tongue, or even just pop open a Gymnema capsule and put that on your tongue, it prevents the taste buds from perceiving sweet tastes. So, for example, chewing chocolate is like chewing butter. It's not very exciting. If you were to take a teaspoon of granulated sugar, those grains of sugar would feel more like grains of sand. With Gymnema, if you were to bite into like a baked good, like a pastry or a donut, you'll taste every part of that pastry, like the fat, the salt, the spices, the dough, not the sugar. It'll taste like cardboard. So with such an herb like this, if more people were taking it, then you really wouldn't eat the sugar-laden foods that you now typically are eating. So if you couldn't taste the sweetness in anything, it's very likely that you wouldn't eat a candy bar, you wouldn't be drinking any sugar-laden soft drinks at all, ice cream, whatever your sugar fixation is. If you couldn't taste the sweetness in any of it, you wouldn't be eating it. So that's why Gymnema is known as the destroyer of sugar, and that's also why I call it the sugar industry's #1 enemy. But Gymnema is also a well-proven treatment for diabetes, and it's been used for this purpose for well over 2,000 years. Gymnema contains a group of compounds known as gymnemic acids, and they appear to be largely responsible for its sweet, abolishing properties, and also could contribute substantially to its anti-diabetic activity. Gymnema can actually restore fasting blood glucose levels to normal within 20 to 60 days. And also this includes normalizing insulin levels, and it helps to rebuild and restore pancreatic beta cells. These are cells in the pancreas that manufacture and secrete insulin. So, Gymnema might actually help to restore damaged pancreatic tissue, like I likely have given my history with sugar, provided the damage has not gone too far. As far as the dosage of Gymnema, 400 milligrams per day, either in capsules or liquid, can reduce insulin requirements by about 50%. And over the duration of treatment, as long as you're taking the Gymnema, Gymnema will actually lower fasting blood glucose levels and long-term blood sugar levels. Also, Gymnema will normalize cholesterol and lower triglycerides, since triglycerides are often tied to high sugar intake. Even if you're not an insulin-dependent diabetic, Gymnema will produce the same result even if you already have healthy blood sugar levels. It'll help you maintain those healthy blood sugar levels and help to restore insulin sensitivity. So again, fasting blood glucose and long-term blood sugar levels were significantly reduced with long-term use of Gymnema. So Gymnema can actually work very quickly to control blood sugar levels. When it's used by itself, Gymnema will not drop blood sugar so far as to cause hypoglycemia or low blood sugar. Actually, what Gymnema feels like is it helps to give you a more sustained feeling of satiety, of fullness. You feel comfortably full throughout more of the day longer. And that's a good sign that your insulin levels are stabilized, because as I've told you before, you want to think of insulin like your body's financial advisor. A good financial advisor will show you how to spend your money so that you have money for the rest of your life. And that's what insulin is trying to do. When it behaves normally, trying to slow and moderate the release of sugar in a way that's easy for the body to utilize. What insulin resistance is, as I've told you before, to use that financial metaphor again, is when you're spending your money way too fast and your advisor, insulin, is yelling at you, stop, you're spending too much, you're going to run out, you're going to go broke, and you say, you know what, shut up, I don't want to listen to you, I'm not going to listen to you, I'm going to continue spending all this money. And that's what insulin resistance is. You have all this insulin in your bloodstream and your cells will not utilize the insulin. So Gymnema helps to balance pancreatic insulin secretions. It helps to support the growth of pancreatic beta cells, which make and release insulin. And it helps to restore insulin sensitivity over time. And if you're a sugar addict like me, if you put it on your tongue, it takes away the taste of sweetness in everything. It doesn't matter what you eat. And you can scrub your tongue with a toothbrush. I've done that. It doesn't come off. You can drink all the water you want. It doesn't come off. It stays on your tongue and mutes the taste of sugar or sweetness in everything for about 12 hours. Do you think the sugar industry likes that? Probably not. So Gymnema is pretty easy to find. It's in most health food stores. You can find it either in liquid or capsules. I would suggest starting out with the capsules, unless, of course, you have a major problem with sugar like I do, in which case some liquid on the tongue in addition to the capsules would help you tremendously. And the funny thing about Gymnema when you put it on your tongue is initially it tastes sweet. So there we have the principle of like treating like, which is something you often find in nature. And if you leave the Gymnema on your tongue long enough, you got to leave it on the tongue for about maybe a minute or so, let it soak into the taste buds, and then it'll mute the taste of sweetness. But if you leave it on the tongue long enough, about 2 to 3 minutes or so, you can actually feel your sugar receptors on your tongue go numb. So again, it comes in capsules and tablets and liquid. It's easy enough to find, and I think everyone should be taking it because we live in a world today that's surrounded by sugar on all sides, and we need to do all that we can to deal with our intake of sugar. And Gymnema, as I've said, is arguably the best herb out there for controlling blood sugar levels. It grows natively in India, and that's why it's part of the Ayurvedic classification of herbs, but it can pretty much grow anywhere, any part of the world, and it grows very quickly. So if you're looking for something that's going to help you kick the sugar habit, Gymnema can really help you out, and that's why I say everyone should be taking it. Thanks for watching. I'm Jason Carter, and I'll see you next time on ENZYMENTAL. Stay healthy.